Hello, everyone, and welcome to the show. Today, this is episode number 40, and we need to celebrate this 40. This is a special number. It's pretty much my age, probably with a few years missing. But that's okay. We have to celebrate with our friend whose name is Todd Hansen, and he's right here in the studio. So, welcome.
It's great to be here, Franz. Congratulations, 40 episodes. That's great. And guess what? I'm 42, plus maybe a few, but nobody needs to know that, right?
It's our secret. Nobody will know. We're only on YouTube. As you know, nothing can possibly happen.
Yeah. Well, happy 40th episode and happy 40th birthday to both of us, right?
Yeah, I always tell my people I've been 21 a couple of times and I just love being 21. So it's great to have you here, Todd. And today, guys, we're going to talk about something that you absolutely love, and that is how to look good and feel confident on camera. How is that possible? I can tell you that I was a really shy girl. And then when I was about 18, I became a broadcaster and I worked for 5 years in an Italian radio. We had a television upstairs, the radio downstairs, and I never went up to the television. I didn't want all these layers of makeup and look very fake and orange. And I became really chatty. Yeah, my parents couldn't shut me up anymore. It was bad. After 5 years, they had enough of me. They sent me to university. It was bad. And now I'm even worse because I have a podcast. And it really took away all my shyness. I'm really a chatterbox. How come? What happened? There must have been a process of being very shy and then trying, but was something that happened. And I don't want to bore you with my story. Instead, I brought here this amazing guest called Todd, who's coming from, where are you coming from? Tell us.
Well, I'm in the United States. I'm in Utah. Have you ever been here, Franz?
I know exactly where it is. I've been several times in Utah. So,
Okay,
yeah,
great.
nice place there. And he comes from Utah and he's going to tell us all about his story. Now, guys, before you think, who is Todd Hansen? He's the guy that is being very involved with Story Track. He's going to tell you all about that. He won 16 Emmy Awards and he has about how many years in broadcasting?
25 plus, which maybe doesn't compute if I'm only 40 years old, but
That's exactly what I was going to say to that. My maths are very back like GCSE level, but I have to say,
yeah.
let's leave this problem for another time because this is not about maths. It's about Todd talking to us about exactly that, how he went from an 8 to 25-year-old shy person who didn't really want to be on camera to a person who's actually working in broadcasting and had come up with a really amazing show, very successful. So he's going to tell us not only about that, but about something else even more exciting that he's going to launch very soon. And that comes after he tells us the beginning. Tell us all from Adam and Eve. What happened to you when you were between 8 and 25? You couldn't talk to people in front of a camera. How did you feel about it? And I know a lot of people who listen to my show have the issue. They say, well, I'm too old. I don't look good. I have wrinkles. I stumble. I make mistakes. Or I jump my words and my legs go jelly. So did you have anything like that happening to you?
Oh yeah, all of those things are real, and it's something that you can overcome, though. And I thought for me, there's no way, there's no hope. I can't get over this. But if I can do this, anybody can do this. And I'm the living proof. If I can have any measure of success in broadcasting in front of a camera, then honestly, anybody can do this, because boy, you should have seen me when I first started out. And prior to 8 years old, I was a normal, happy-go-lucky, gregarious kid who just would talk to anybody, but I just shut down, around that time. And my mom, she wondered whatever would become of me. She really worried about me because I just shut down. I wouldn't talk to people, especially adults. I had a couple of friends, but then there was this long stretch where I was painfully shy. And it's funny, I ran into a friend of mine from elementary school just a couple of years ago. And he said the first time he saw me on television as a news reporter, he just couldn't wrap his brain around that. he was floored because he could not understand. It didn't compute to him that the shy, awkward, weird kid that he grew up with was on TV at that moment, because I was so awkward and shy and wouldn't speak to a single soul. But I mean, there were a few things that happened to me. For me, I was going to be this sports star because there was nothing else in my life. So I was going to be a football player, I thought. And I was too short. I was too slow. And I had 3 knee surgeries in high school. So that shut everything down, and really had no idea what I was going to do with my life. But one great thing that I decided to do after high school is I always wanted to be a missionary for my church. And
Mm-hmm.
if you really want to bring somebody out of their shell, then, send them somewhere far, far away from home and give them a set of scriptures and say, hey, go teach the gospel to strangers.
Oh my gosh.
That was really kind of a out of your comfort zone experience for me,
Mm-hmm.
and absolutely terrifying. But I desperately wanted to do it. So
Mm-hmm.
a lot of people have been in that situation where you want to do something desperately, but you're absolutely terrified to do it. And it's
Mm-hmm.
similar to going on camera. So many people want to go on camera. They want to do this, especially these days when so much of our lives is on camera, but you're terrified to do it. So I was in that situation with being a missionary for my church, but I did it, and that was an amazing experience, and it really helped bring me out of my shell. But even after that 2 years as a missionary, I still was fearful and shy and needed something. And my sports career, that wasn't going to happen. So I decided, how am I going to get over this shyness completely? Hey, shy people should go into broadcasting, right? Makes perfect sense, Leave all
Right?
those, yeah, leave all
And
those gregarious people out, the outgoing people. The shy people should go into broadcasting. So that's what I chose. I chose to go into broadcasting and just hit it head on.
wow, that's what I call courage, right?
Or foolishness, Franz.
I don't know, but what was the result of you trying to really face this problem instead of running away from it?
It was initially hitting my head against the wall. It was difficult.
Mm.
It was tough because what I learned was, in my university, they didn't teach anything about how to be great on camera. They taught news reporting, and they taught producing, and they taught all of these great things, writing, production skills, camera work, but they didn't teach you how to be great on camera, how not to be afraid of this thing, this inanimate object
Yes,
that can
round.
be so terrifying to people.
Just a piece of
And
glass.
so for me, it took years really to get comfortable doing that. And like I said at the start, I thought, oh man, there is no hope for me. So it was trial and error, and it was figuring out a system and
Mhm.
formulas on my own to figure it out. But I was never one for failure. So I thought, I'm going to do this. And I knew I could do this. I knew there was a way. And I knew that the shy kid, that wasn't who I was. And it revealed who I was. So anytime that we can find meaning in suffering, then we can figure out really who we are deep down inside. And so that's
Mhm.
kind of what I'm doing now with what I'm teaching. And it's an amazing thing. It's fun to be able to serve in this way after this, not after, I mean, I'm still doing it, but after 25 years of doing this professionally and having this opportunity to bless so many lives with broadcasting and incredible TV shows, and now to be able to teach people what I've learned so they don't have to stumble around in the dark like I did.
Mhm. That's amazing. So your mindset was the thing that really took you. Wasn't that somebody gave you a course? And but I want to see what happens when you did some work in broadcasting. What exactly were you doing in the beginning?
So at the start, I went into broadcast journalism. So I became a news reporter, news anchor, and did that. So I did that in college. And I first started out, in radio and then print, worked for a newspaper, and then right out of college, got a anchor and reporter job for a small market TV station in Washington State. And then my goal was to move back to Salt Lake City and get a job where I'm from. So got a job in Salt Lake City as a reporter, and then worked my way up to be an anchor. And then I got really tired of television news and I was finished. Yeah, I was finished with being on camera. So I left TV, I thought, all together forever. But then I found out about a network who needed some great TV show ideas. And I pitched what I thought was a great TV show idea for a show that ended up being called The Story Trek. And that was just to randomly go out and find people, bump into people and say, hey, I don't know who you are, but will you tell me your story? Because I know you've got a great story. And most people were shocked and thought it was a scam or hoped it was the lottery, and and when we let them down and said, no, it's not Publishers Clearinghouse lottery, but we'd love to hear your story, we got incredible stories. And it went for 12 seasons and 150 episodes. And really, it was an inspiration to a lot of people and myself.
So you were on camera again, you were recording, and you were with people who were not prepared. So they could just say anything, and you just had to face it and just come out with something quickly so they will be television worthy. That is a lot of woo.
Yeah. So a lot of people were pretty terrified at that prospect, but intrigued enough to say, yeah, let's give it a try. And so it was an instant opportunity for me to make them comfortable on camera. And it's a little bit different when you're presenting. So when it's you doing a video, like a Facebook Live, for instance, and that's paralyzing for so many people. You're talking directly into the camera and you've got to present some information and make it seem coherent, and that can be really tough for a lot of people. But if you're being interviewed, kind of like what you're doing with me, that's easier for a lot of people because they're experts in what they know, and it's usually about themselves or their business. So that's a lot easier, and you can make them more comfortable. And there are ways to make an interview setting more comfortable for people. And it was interesting a lot of times because I had a system and a way to do an interview. I would be well into an interview with people on my show, and they would say, well, when are we going to start this interview? And I'd say, well, we started a long time ago. And they were shocked. But that's how easy it can be. You just don't ever want to make any time you're going on camera to be such a weird and awkward deal. You want it to be a conversational kind of approach, and you just want to get comfortable with that.
Oh, that's very good. It sounds a little bit like conversational hypnosis when you are talking to somebody and you're coaching, and then suddenly they're in hypnosis, they don't even know you're like that. That's right. Here you are. And they're just like, oh my gosh. And I'm really talking to my subconscious mind. It's just a natural process that you happen to find when you ask yourself certain questions. And probably when you have these interviews, you're going right there to ask them about the past. So they're very relaxed. They're thinking about these memories. And then they start remembering, oh yeah, there's this, there's that. And then, oh, I've been on camera, I've done it. So what are the tricks that you have learned in these trades? Is there something you can share with the thousands of people that want to do it, but they feel absolutely paralyzed? What tips would you have for these people, men, women, any age? Because I have an audience that is quite wide at the moment. So what would you say to them?
Yeah, well, you hit on it. And we talked about it being conversational, and that's the key. And seeing this object, this camera, as not a foe, something you hate, and trying to see it as a friend. So it really gets into what we talked about earlier, and it's mindset. And you have to totally shift that mindset, not being afraid of the camera, but seeing it as something that serves you, and then you having the ability through it to serve other people. So what terrifies people is the fact that the camera, when it's just sitting there, it's non-threatening. It can be over in the corner. It's no big deal. But the minute you get in front of it, especially when you press that button that says record, it's paralyzing. You lose your mind. I mean, you can go crazy. Yes. But if you shift your mindset and you see it as a friend, and there are ways to do this, to see it as a friend. So you can imagine a friend on the other side of that camera. You can imagine the most trusted person in the world who you love on the other side of that camera. And that's the person you're talking to. This is the person you love, and you're talking to that person. Every time you go on camera, this is the person you're talking to. And another way to visualize that perfectly is you actually get a picture of that person and you tape it to the camera. You just tape it right underneath the lens. And so you're actually talking to that person every time. And it's amazing how that can help. And just, it helps you to visualize that person. And then you're having a conversation and you're beginning to communicate rather than broadcast or have this awkward conversation. And then when we talk about communicating, you actually go into a video knowing what you're going to say. So winging it is never a great strategy when you're doing a video. And so many people say, well, I want to be authentic. I want to be myself. And so I don't want to go in all prepared and with a bunch of stuff. And so it seems rehearsed, but that is never a good strategy for a video. And you don't have to be word for word prepared. You don't have to be telepromptered, anything like that. You don't want to be reading from your screen word for word, and because that sounds very weird. And but you need to have,
I sell olive oil, and it's 250, and it's very good.
Yep. But you need to have bullet points. So you can have bullet points. And again, you can tape those to your camera or have them on a computer screen nearby. And it's very natural to look off to the side. And that is just conversational. When you're having a conversation with someone, you do not stare into their eyes all the time, unflinchingly, because that is really weird. And from your perspective, what does that mean? That's like some psychological weirdness. Yeah.
It's absolutely scary thing. This creepy man was looking at me like that and just like, no. So you really want to be looking everywhere. In fact, you're supposed to look right here when you're talking to people and not straight in their eyes, unless you're like people who are in love, right? But that's the exception to the rule. And if I saw a presenter that was like, today, a Pope said, I would be like, oh my gosh, what is that? So it is really a natural thing, isn't it, to look around, because your eyes can do like a figure of 8 and look around the place, and actually you're listening and you're pretty much concentrated in that area. That's quite a good tip. But for videos and also for photographs, not to be looking like that.
Yes. Yeah. And so that's the third thing is your eyes and your hands. Very important. Naturally, like I just looked away and I'm not looking at notes or anything, but it's just natural to look away. So if you have notes, you can look away and read them, and it is so natural, but you don't want to be glued to the screen or to the camera, and you just naturally look away when you're having a conversation with anybody. So you treat it as a natural conversation. And then your hands. People talk with their hands all the time. Don't glue your hands to your body. People are always asking me, what do I do with my hands in a video?
I'm going to have to interrupt you. Did you just say talk to your hands to an Italian? Sorry.
Exactly. Do Italians talk with their hands ever?
Mamma mia. I mean,
Yeah.
honestly, there's the old joke that says that if you want to make an Italian deaf and dumb, just cut off your hands. They can't talk anymore. No
Yeah.
offense to deaf and dumb people, but we need to talk. And if you saw a full view of me, I'm moving my hands all the time because that's how I am, and I think it's more expressive. And I think, as you're saying, and sorry for interrupting, but I thought I would
No
just lose
problem.
my trail. If we're talking like that, they can't even breathe properly. So you need to
Yes.
expand your energy to other people. Please continue.
Well, yeah. And so talk with your hands. I mean, it's
Talk to
so
your hands.
important.
So maybe
And
hold something if you don't know
yeah,
what to do
yeah.
with your hands.
If you have a prop, if you're talking about your new water bottle, talk about, show it, whatever.
Okay.
And fourth tip, be yourself. Don't try to imitate other people, and you can emulate your idols. If you have some idol out there who you really admire and you love their style, you can emulate some of that, but don't adopt their personality. I mean, you are special, you're amazing, and what makes you is something that other people need, and they need to learn from you. And you're an expert in something, and it needs to
Yes.
be shared. We're all unique. And if everybody was like Todd Hansen, the world would be such a boring place. So don't copy me, be you, and the world will be blessed because of you.
Wow, we could just finish the episode, but we still have 9 minutes, so we can still go. But yeah, that was it. You have to be you. You have to understand that people like you because you are different from everyone else. If we were all the same, who would be listening to different podcasts? No, it's always the same thing, which is why people maybe they don't shine doing this stuff. When we go to school, when it's always the same, people are all doing the same stuff. But when you come out and you can do your own project, maybe your own theater or movie production, and you're choosing what you're doing and it's nobody else doing it, and it's just you doing it with your voice, your acting, your decisions, and then you are moving more naturally because it's something you really feel like you want to do as well. Isn't just the teacher told me to stand like this, so I'm gonna, that's why there are some very good actors and some that are a bit kind of more rigid. Maybe
Yeah.
even the old-time actors from the 60s, they were very
Yeah.
don't really have a way, but the way they were so posed all the time, right?
Yes. Well, and that's another important tip is how you're posed and how you're doing your videos, how you're perceived on camera. So if I if I came on your podcast and I said, hey Franz, it's great to be here,
There it is.
and I'm excited to be your camera confidence expert. So what do you want to talk about today?
It's time to
How
close
do,
the
how do you
video.
think I would be perceived? As an expert?
Yeah.
No.
Sorry,
Yeah, I mean,
no.
posture is so important. And what that creates when you're sitting up straight, or you're standing up straight,
Mhm.
or you're on a stool and you're sitting up straight and not slouching. I mean, it's everything mom taught us, when we were kids. Sit up straight.
Breathe
It
properly.
it not only creates authority when you speak, but it creates breath, right?
Mhm.
And when you speak and when you're on camera, breath is so important. Breathing is key. Having a deep breath, and I've been there when I first started
Oh,
in
yes.
broadcasting, my voice was probably 2 octaves higher when I started because I was so nervous and I couldn't get a deep breath because I just wasn't breathing properly. And I have the videotape to prove it. It's kind of scary, friends. But when you're sitting up straight,
Mm,
it allows you to get a deep breath before every sentence, and then your
yes.
vocal tone sounds so much better. It's deeper, more authoritative, and breathing is so key. And it's just tied in with posture and confidence. And what's great about camera confidence is it translates into every other aspect of your life. If you get confident on camera, then it moves into every other thing. And I'm sure you've seen that in your life when you became confident in broadcasting. What did that do for you? I mean, your parents said they couldn't shut you up, right?
Yes, because before I was very shy about expressing my opinions in case somebody would maybe disagree. And then I realized, hey, if I can talk to thousands of people from the radio, why can I not ask my parents about something different? Maybe I don't agree with their recent decision or something. And I was more chatty and more open to express my opinions, which, it was a great thing for me. But also think about anxiety wise, there are some people that are very anxious.
Yeah.
Let's
Yeah.
say that anxiety has something to do with breathing. And so when you start breathing deeply and thinking that, oh, right, when I hear or I feel that my heart is beating faster, this is not the fear, this is the excitement, is the energy. So when you change the words that are in your mind, you're telling yourself, this is so exciting. I absolutely love being on camera. Everything's going to be great. And this heart that is beating is bringing me so much energy that I can then pass to the other people that are listening to me, and they can feel my energy. And surprisingly, this is what happens when I have a meeting with somebody who has never seen me before. And we start for a session. So we go on live to talk. And pretty much 50% of the time, I get people coming on video and they say, wow, I can feel your energy. And I'm like, wow, all I've done was a smile. But there is something, just it becomes natural in the end. You're not expecting. I think it's about perfection. What do you think?
Perfection.
Not
Yeah.
wanting, not waiting to be perfect.
Yes. I teach perfection is inattainable, and don't try to be perfect. Done is better than perfect. You've heard that a lot. So just start and get your videos out, and you will get better and better. Now, I've won a bunch of awards, Emmy Awards, for being on camera, for being a host on camera. And an Emmy Award in television is the highest award I can get for TV, but I'm still getting better. I've never had a perfect video. I've never been perfect on camera. I can always get better.
Mhm.
And once I think, okay, I'm as good as I'm going to get. I'm great. I'm amazing. Then I need to get worried. Or if I think, all right, I'm never going to get any better. This is as good. Then I have to get worried as well. We can always get better. So that's a part of my course, part of my coaching is don't ever try to be perfect, because perfection is unattainable from anyone.
I totally agree. And there was something I was looking at today, and I was out most of the day, but I took a little bit of time to see just how long do people spend on a website where they're going to decide to buy a product or not. And it was so amazing that it's maximum 1 minute, but on average 1 to 5 seconds. And if
Wow.
you're really interested, they might spend 5 to 10 seconds. And then if you're very, very into this website, it might be a whole minute. So it's very important because the picture speaks 1,000 words. And so when you see a picture of a person that is nervous, there is a problem. You can tell that the person is kind of harsh or not very happy. And maybe they were just nervous about the camera, and maybe they are the most loving person, generous, full of energy, but it's not coming through because when we see this camera lens, there is something happening. And so in the world of today, we need to be online. We need to be sailing, unless you're a doctor. So there we go, the hospital finds the patients. But in all the other jobs, you need to be somehow representing yourself. You have a brand. The brand is what you do. That's all it is. And as you well know, you have to be on Facebook, on TikTok, on YouTube. You have to be somewhere where you're showing how good you are, putting up those windows, cleaning those roofs, cleaning those windows, making those cakes. People want to see. That's how we learn. And we decide, oh, I really like this, or I don't like that. So if this person is doing a video or photography product, and you see this, maybe you want to buy a course, and you say, oh, the course is amazing, I read the reviews, is amazing. But when you look at this person and they're very stiff and very serious, and every word is just like that, and you just switch off. And as people have this, one of the websites said, I'm going to read this, you have 2 seconds when you go to a website, 2 seconds to tell me what you do, 2 seconds to make it relevant to me, and 2 seconds to keep me interested. Rinse and repeat the process until I leave the page. And I'm like, wow, this is a lot of competition, which is why I think that's what we do. We go to Google or DuckDuckGo, we look for a website, which course shall I do? And then, we check out the adverts. We don't want the adverts. We just go to the proper people who have not paid to be there. Now this maybe go open all the tabs, right? 3 seconds have passed. We only open the first page. We don't care about the other pages. When we scroll down, and then we say, this looks interesting. So then we start looking at the website. If a font is bad, the colors are clutching bad, and you can tell no designer has ever been nearby. It's all really badly. You don't even look. You don't even know what it is. You can't read it. If a website is unclear, you don't know what they're selling, who they are. You can't see them. About me, missing, and who's this guy? I can't even talk. So people are looking for this connection.
Yeah.
They're looking for the connection. If I cannot see you, like as you are all the time, they can't connect. And tell me something, Todd. You are a man, so you probably think differently. But women, like me, they might get a little bit worried after the age of 30 or 40. You have wrinkles, the bags, maybe they have a neck that is not quite right. Maybe they are not shaped in the way, and with a big eyebrows. There is something that is not like in, all the Kardashians, and they want to look amazing, and they feel they can't compare.
Mm-hmm.
And they're worried. So they start putting a lot of makeup and doing the hair for lots of, and maybe very stiff. And some of them come and say, I need help with anxiety about this. I'm like, well, what is going on here? And I ask them, and some of them have no idea how people will view you if you are older or not beautiful. So what would be your word of advice for, in particular, women or anyone who is very worried about the looks? So they can stand in front of a camera, but they're still thinking, oh, my nose is not quite right, or I got pimples there, and my makeup is not right. What would you say to them?
Well, I mean, there are certain things you can do technically to look your best on camera placement, lights, the type of camera that you can use. But it goes back to one of the first modules in my course, and that's you being you. You have to embrace yourself and know that your value is so important. And really it comes down to your message and why you're doing your videos and what you need to share with the world, and the meaning you have in that and the importance of that. So I spend a lot of time talking about the why. Before we ever even get into doing anything on camera or talking about camera confidence, we really need to get clear on the why and why this is so important to you to be on camera. Because until we're clear about that, then getting through any of the how or how we look or anything of that isn't going to matter. And it's going to be a real struggle unless we're clear on our why and our mission statement. I go through a mission statement exercise. And then when we realize these videos are serving us and our lives and our families and serving other people, then it suddenly opens up this huge blessing in our lives and other people's. And then you're like, okay, this stuff is way in the background and it doesn't matter. And we can walk through some of the technical things where, we look better. We sound better. We can wear these certain clothes to look a little bit better, but And yeah, we can have these nice microphones to
Don't get too
sound a
far.
little bit better. Don't touch them when you're talking.
I know, I
But
should never do. Well,
yeah.
this is just a pop. But that's a great advice. And I regret we have 35 minutes, so we're going to have to start wrapping this up. So
Okay.
as you guys understand, Todd Hansen has a course, and this course is designed so you can overcome your lack of confidence in front of a camera so you can create a very meaningful and profitable video and establish yourself as a professional, which is what is going to get the traction of a website, get the people to click on that link, click on that 5 days challenge on Facebook or whatever it is, buy the course because it's, well, if it's so good, then I'm going to be in this program that this person is doing. So if you were to present your course in just elevator pitch style, what would you say? We're going to put links anyway in front, all the videos and whatever, but what would you say to people? What do you do for people in this video?
Elevator pitch style is I transform the introvert, the people who have always wanted to go on camera, but something is holding them back, whether it's absolute terror of the camera, like I was, shyness, I just couldn't talk to people, and now I have to go on camera, or it's not knowing what to say or how to say it, how to frame that message. And I transform that not in years and years of going in front of a camera and having to practice and stumble, but I do this in just weeks with some people. You can transform into camera confidence. And what that does is it makes you confident on camera. It can help grow your business, and it transforms into confidence in your life. You've seen it, Franz. I've seen it. I've seen confidence from being on camera change my life in so many other aspects. I mean, I'm asked to do public speaking all the time, hundreds of times in groups of thousands of people, because I became confident on camera. It's really a huge, huge blessing. And when people saw me when I was a kid, they couldn't imagine this would have ever happened in my life.
So you went from a caterpillar to a butterfly, and that's something that what you're saying to the world is that you can all be butterflies. You can come out of the cocoon, get the self-confidence. And then, of course, I'm a therapist. I always push, you need therapy, but sometimes all you need is a few good techniques. And just knowing that this is possible, and even people who have never done it before can absolutely learn. So you have your course. We're going to have a website. Can you tell us what's a website URL?
Yeah. ToddHansenLearn.com is where people need to go to find out more. Or they can visit me on Facebook. TV Todd Hansen is the Facebook link, facebook.com/TV Todd Hansen. But Todd Hansen Learn is probably the best place to go.
That is brilliant. And I'm sure there will be a lot of people who will be clicking on those links and having a look to see what does he have in store for me, and having visualizing this amazing future that they can have once they really get the little step of being confident, being able to look at the camera and say, it's just a little piece of glass. It's nothing else there. That's all it is.
It's a friend. You find out it's a friend that serves you, and you can serve others.
Yeah, that's what it is. Well, thank you, Todd, for being with us today. It's been absolutely amazing. 38 minutes of gold and knowledge, and we could be talking for ages, but yeah,
we could.
It's like we have to cut now. And so thank you so much for being with us. And guys, you know where you are. This is called, what's the name of my show? Just kidding. This was Create with Franz. So thank you so much for being with us today and learning how to be camera confident with Todd Hansen and Franz Sidney. So if you like this episode, please click share. Share with your friends, tell everyone about this, because we want more people to know how to become confident, whether they're going to a therapist or they're going to be confident for camera. We don't mind, we don't want people just to be very happy and relaxed and feeling great and really enjoying their life. So again, have a great day, and I'll see you all next week, and happy Easter. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.